All right, Nick, let's talk about the Southern Cal Trojans. This is a team that has the offensive side of things figured out, but the defensive side of the ball, not so much. But I think there's a story today that kind of is showing that things are getting back on the right track, and some speed bumps that they had last year, they're going to start to overcome. And I think they have the cavalry, so to speak, on the way back. They're going to get a lot of help this season.
Yeah, Miles, I think it's a really interesting report that you found that I think USC fans will be really excited to hear from. But before we get into that report, Trojans fans, we want to hear from you guys, as we always like to, in the comment section below. Kind of an interesting question for you guys today. We want to hear about what big-time recruit in the annals of USC history that came in with a lot of hype and lived up to it, who was spectacular, a guy who came in with the weight of the world on his shoulders and absolutely dominated from day one. Give us a guy in USC Trojan history who you think followed that to a T in the comment section below. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of LA?
All right, Nick, what if I told you a couple of these statistics? 5-star player, number 5 player in the nation, number 1 player in all of California, number 2 corner in the entire recruiting class. That would sound pretty good to Southern Cal fans right now, and that is exactly who are they getting back this season, Nick, and that is none other than Damani Jackson, Nick. He is looking healthy after coming back from injury that he had in his senior year of high school. He battled through that injury all of last year, but there's a report out now that Jackson is getting healthy. He's looking good. He's looking confident through spring training, and he is on his way back to help this defense out. But let me read the article to you here real quick, Nick. Positive development for the Trojans and Jackson is that he is practicing on a consistent basis this spring and finally learning the ropes of the college game that he wasn't able to last year. Most definitely, Jackson said when asked if he had to rebuild confidence in his knee since he initially suffered the injury almost 2 years ago. He said it's always a struggle coming off of a knee injury and gaining that confidence back. It plays a big role in your play, but I think I'm really confident in my knee this year, and I'm excited to move forward, Nate. So that is some very good news for Trojan fans. This is really good news for the defense, Nick, because this guy is an elite level prospect, top of the top, best of the best. This is a guy that if he can come back, play with some confidence, as he said, in that knee, if he can get back to the level that he was, this is a lockdown style of corner, Nick. This guy can be a force on the defensive side of the ball, and that is something that would really, really help out the defense, help Grinch out. He does need a lot of help on the defense side of things. So I think a player like Jackson coming back is a big boost. And I think that, Nick, this is just going to be huge for the Trojans going forward because Lincoln Riley's got the defense or the offensive side of things figured out. It's just the defense that needs a little bit of help. And a guy like Jackson coming back is huge news for the Trojans. What do you think about this, Nick?
So it's big news for 2 reasons. And you kind of hit on the first big one, of course, is that Jackson has the potential to be an outstanding player. So getting a guy of his caliber, frankly, even 80% of his potential on the football field is a massive upgrade for a Trojans defense, like you alluded to, Mize, that absolutely needs the help. So from an on-field perspective, getting him on it will just be a great move. Add at least a lot of depth to a secondary, or it could potentially move into an all-American, all conference kind of corner, which he certainly has the potential to be. But I want to take a step back and deeper into what it really means to have a guy of this caliber, right? A 5-star former top of the world athlete. And when you're a 5-star guy, you've been like the top of the college football recruiting world for 2 or 3 years. Everybody loves you. Everybody wants you. And then bam, to hit with that knee injury. Here's the thing people don't understand, Miles. And for those of you who don't watch the show, I did play small-time college football, so I was a little aware of this kind of thing. I've seen a lot of teammates of mine. They get a bad injury, you get shuffled away. You're not around your teammates. Everyone's practicing. Everyone's lifting weights. You're off in the corner in a different room in a different building going through rehab. You just get separated from the team. It's easy to get down on yourself. It's easy to just not, get in the funk and not able to recover. And to have a guy to be able to go through, 2 years of this kind of rehab and these ups and downs to finally work his way back on the field does 2 things. One, it shows me this kid is mentally tough as all get out, which means perfect for a corner. So from that perspective, he's going to be awesome on the field. But number 2, it also sends a message to the rest of the team that they can overcome injuries and other setbacks as well. Because that's just a reality of the game. Everyone understands this. Injuries and things like that happen. And you're dealing with college college kids. You're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who may have not necessarily gone through a whole lot of adversity, through most of their lives. Some of them certainly have, but not all of them. And to be faced with an injury like that in football, the one thing you care about more than anything else in the world is torn away from you for weeks or months at an end. That can be absolutely debilitating. But here you have a guy in Jackson who was the top of the college football world in terms of recruiting when it comes to recruiting, and he has football taken away from him, but he still finds a way to battle through and come back. That is a huge morale boost and a leadership sign throughout the entire program. These are the kind of things that can be cornerstones for putting programs taking that next step or bringing them back to its former glory in USC's cases, right? You get guys who maybe could have transferred, maybe who could have fallen off the rope. They're like, nope, I'm sticking to it. I want to come back and I'm going to play football. It brings the rest of the guys with them. And so when I look at this move and I look at Jackson here, I see it as a morale move, a team building move that'll be huge for this program going forward.
And I think, Nick, one final point that could really just cement Jackson's final comeback and really give him all the confidence in the world is that he's not just going to be handed this spot. There's a couple of corners that have come over, a couple of guys that stepped up at the end of last year, and they're all in here. But Jackson has really stood out so far in spring training. But you got Sire Wright, who started 9 games last season. He's looking good. Jacoby Covenant started 3 games at the end of last season. He's in the mix as well. They got the transfer from Arizona, Christian Roland Wallace. So these guys are all battling for the spot. Jackson is standing out, and if he can battle back from injury and win out a starting spot, that's going to boost his confidence. And like you said, that's going to mentally make him that much stronger coming to the season. So I'm really excited to see the cornerback battle. I think that Jackson has a really good chance to win and become a starting corner on this team. And I want to see this new and improved Southern Cal defense coming into next season.